You guys, you are not going to believe what went down at Sundance. Seriously, if you thought things couldn't get more cringe with Harry and Meghan, just hold on to your hats, because what Tom Bower has uncovered is absolutely staggering. We're talking about a full-blown, unmitigated disaster that exposes everything that's rotten at the core of their so-called brand. Picture this. Meghan Markle sweeps into the Sundance Film Festival, right? Designer outfit, that practice smile she does, posing on the red carpet like she's just been nominated for an Oscar. She's there promoting this documentary, Cookie Queens, about Girl Scouts, giving these heartfelt speeches about how powerful and meaningful it is, how it's an amazing depiction of American tradition. She's talking about her own experience as a Girl Scout, the whole 9 yards. You know, trying to sell this narrative of a triumphant return to Hollywood. But here's the thing. Here's what Tom Bower's sources, people actually at the festival, have revealed, and it's just jaw-dropping. When the lights went down in that small Sundance theater, and we're not talking about some massive multiplex here, this is a small, intimate venue, there were approximately 150 empty seats. Let that sink in for a second. 150 empty seats at Sundance. Anyone who's ever tried to get a ticket to a Sundance screening knows that's just unheard of. Tickets are gold dust. Lines wrap around buildings. Films sell out instantly. This is where distributors go to find the next big thing, where buzz is everything. And Meghan Markle's big comeback film had empty seats. Tom Bower's contacts at Sundance told him it got even more desperate. As the movie progressed, ushers and staffers were literally pushed into the theater, right? To try and make it look less embarrassing. Can you even imagine? Even with that desperate attempt to fill seats, there were still 60 to 70 empty seats by the time the film actually started. Come on. This isn't just a bad turnout. This is a political statement about their relevance, about their marketability. It screams nobody cares. And it completely shreds their narrative of being these in-demand Hollywood power players. But it gets so much worse because the core of this whole debacle isn't just the empty seats. It's the sheer breathtaking lack of authenticity from Meghan. Tom Bower's sources, people who actually sat through the screening, have come to a unanimous conclusion. They honestly don't think Harry and Meghan even watched the documentary they're promoting. Let me repeat that. People who were in that theater believe the Sussexes never actually watched the film. The disconnect between Meghan's gushing speech and the actual content of the film was so obvious that multiple attendees independently reached the same conclusion. This isn't speculation. This is reporting from people who saw it with their own eyes. And you know what? It makes sense. Because if she had watched it, she wouldn't be calling it an empowering depiction of American tradition. Because the film Cookie Queens actually exposes a system of child exploitation within the Girl Scouts organization. Yeah, you heard me right. While Meghan's up there talking about modernized girlhood experience and sacrificing to give daughters opportunities, the documentary reveals parents have to buy all the cookies up front, sometimes hundreds, even thousands of dollars worth, hoping they can sell enough to recoup their investment. It shows wealthy parents buying in bulk, selling through social media and workplace connections, essentially buying their daughters' badges and achievements. It even shows girls being coached to use guilt-tripping as a sales tactic, leveraging sympathy, poverty, race, disability to make sales. This is not an empowerment story, people. This is a story about a system that favors wealthy families, about children being pressured to perform. And Meghan completely missed it, or worse, ignored it. And the Girl Scouts organization? They are reportedly furious. Tom Bower's insider sources say they feel exposed and blindsided by the royal seal of approval from someone who clearly didn't understand their actual business model. There's even a disclaimer in tiny letters at the beginning of the documentary that the Girl Scouts had no involvement with this film. None. They've totally distanced themselves. Yet, Meghan gave an entire speech at Sundance as if she's their biggest champion. It's a massive miscalculation, a complete lack of due diligence, and it's damaging to a brand she claimed to be supporting. Then there's the lie. Oh, the lies. Meghan stood on that stage reminiscing about her own experience as a Girl Scout in California selling cookies. But Tom Bower's reporting surfaced another brazen lie. Meghan was never a Girl Scout. She was a brownie, which is the younger age group, typically 5 to 7. And here's the kicker. Brownies don't sell cookies. That's not part of their program. So she literally invented a cookie selling past. It's lie number 5,000,001. And it just further erodes any shred of credibility she might have left. She just can't help herself. Can she? It's like everything is a performance, nothing is authentic. This isn't just a bad look, it's a political liability that undermines everything they try to do. And Speaking of authenticity, let me break this down for you. Harry and Meghan's contribution to this film? Zero. Zip. Nada. Rob Shooter confirmed there were literally 24 executive producers on this thing, right? 24! And guess who were the last two added? The Sussexes. In December 2024, the film was already in the can, as they say in Hollywood. Finished. Done. They just bought their way onto a completed project, slapped that Archwell name on it, and showed up for the red carpet. That's it. That's their entire contribution. And you know what? Even that minimal involvement has turned toxic. And then Meghan, oh Meghan, she broke every single fundamental film festival protocol. At Sundance, at Cannes, any legitimate festival, the director is king. The director speaks first, always. But Meghan, she needed her moment, didn't she? Got a special introduction to speak before the director. She walked out on that stage, according to eyewitnesses, like she just won an Oscar, thanking everyone, listing her Archwell team members, just going on and on and on. And her speech? A total meaningless word salad. Seriously, folks, when asked about her favorite cookie, the easiest softball question of the century, she couldn't even answer it. She deflected, made some vague comment about everyone's favorite, this is textbook Meghan, you know what I mean? Everything is performance, nothing is authentic. She can't even commit to a favorite cookie because, gasp, that might box her in, might make her seem too definite about something. And here's the real kicker, the part that truly stings. The actual filmmakers, the real producers who spent years making this documentary, they didn't even want Harry and Meghan front and center at Sundance. A source revealed their brand, the Sussex brand, is so toxic, so damaged now that the filmmakers realized having them as the face of the project was a monumental mistake. They thought H&M would bring prestige, bring attention, right? Instead, they bring controversy and, let's be honest, failure. Their names have become the kiss of death. Seriously. And for a couple who are famously vocal about protecting children, here's the most damning part. This film quietly, subtly exposes a system of child exploitation, and they completely missed it. Or worse, ignored it. The documentary shows potential child labor law violations, financial burdens being placed on families, children being coached and pressured to perform while a massive organization profits. And Meghan stood on that stage celebrating it as empowerment. The verdict from Tom Bauer, and you can't argue with it. They cannot help themselves. They always step in it. And this time, they've stepped in it spectacularly. You want confirmation? Here it is. There is still no distribution deal for this documentary. None. Despite the Sundance premiere, despite the red carpet, despite Meghan's cringeworthy speech, nobody wants to buy it. Their names, I'm telling you, are the kiss of death to any project. And the timing, it makes it even more brutal, doesn't it? Netflix just officially canceled With Love Meghan after one season. They didn't quietly let it fade away. Oh no. They announced it publicly. That's huge. It means Netflix wanted the world to know they're done with Meghan Markle. And frankly, I gotta tell you, I don't see where she's going from here. Her Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. No real income anymore. It's a major problem. And then there's the jarring contrast, the hypocrisy that nobody can ignore. Less than a week before Sundance, Harry was in a London courtroom crying about media intrusion, claiming the press made his life absolute misery, begging for privacy and protection. Then what does he do? Gets on a plane, flies to Sundance, and walks the red carpet, practically begging for cameras and attention. You can't make this up. The hypocrisy is so blatant, so obvious, that even their most ardent supporters are struggling to defend it. And you know what this disaster proves? Prince William's strategy is absolutely right. William wants them stripped of their titles, wants them completely cut off from the royal family. Incidents like this just show exactly why. They cannot control themselves. They cannot do basic research. They cannot understand the projects they attach their names to. Every single venture becomes a controversy. Every project becomes a failure. As one source put it, everything they touch turns controversial, and this time, it clearly wasn't even intentional. Tom Bauer has once again exposed what everyone suspected, but now we have confirmation. Meghan didn't watch the film. The theater was half empty. The Girl Scouts are furious. The film exposes child exploitation that she completely missed. And nobody wants to buy it. It's only January 2026. Folks, If this is how their year is starting, where in the world will they be by December? Seriously, it's going to be a wild ride. And you know what else this whole mess highlights? Their absolute inability to read a room. Seriously. They fly into Sundance, this bastion of independent filmmaking and social commentary, with a film that inadvertently skewers the very organization Meghan's pretending to champion. And then she has the audacity to give this vapid, self-congratulatory speech. It's not just tone deaf, it's a full-blown symphony of self-destruction. You've got to wonder who's advising them, or is it that they just don't listen to anyone? Because this isn't just a bad PR day, this is a catastrophic failure on multiple levels, and it's entirely self-inflicted. Look, this isn't just about a flop documentary, right? This is about the complete unraveling of their entire post-royal strategy. They wanted to be Hollywood power players, humanitarian champions, producers of meaningful content. But what have they actually produced? A podcast that fizzled, a Netflix deal that's clearly on life support with shows getting canceled, and now this, a documentary they barely touched that exposes child exploitation and can't even find a distributor. It's a pattern, you know what I mean? It's not an accident anymore. Every single thing they try to do seems to backfire spectacularly. And the financial aspect here, that's huge. Tom Bauer's right, Meghan's income stream is drying up. When Netflix cancels a show like that, so publicly, it's a signal. It's not just a quiet cancellation. It's a declaration. It says, we're not seeing the return on investment, the brand isn't delivering, and what's left? What's their next move? Are they going to keep buying onto other people's finished projects and slapping their names on them? Because clearly, that's not working. The market, the actual industry, is saying no. They're not just struggling, they're becoming a liability. This whole Cookie Queens debacle, it's not just embarrassing for them, it's a huge win for everyone who's been saying they're all talk and no substance. It validates every critic. It proves that without the royal titles, without the actual work, there's just nothing. They're not creatives, they're not visionaries, they're just people who attach themselves to things, hoping some of the shine will rub off. But now, it's like they're rubbing off the shine from everything else. Their touch is tainted. Seriously, it's the kiss of death, like Bauer said. And let's go back to that point about Princess Catherine, because I think that's a crucial piece of this puzzle. Tom Bauer's analysis that this was all about upstaging Catherine, it rings so true, doesn't it? Catherine is the patron of the Girl Guides in the UK. Meghan sees an opportunity, right? Oh, I'll do the American version. I'll show her up. I'll be the bigger, more impactful, royal, adjacent humanitarian. But she didn't do the homework. She didn't understand the nuances. She just saw the surface-level opportunity for a PR win and dove headfirst into a pool full of sharks. This isn't about genuine interest in the Girl Scouts or child welfare. It's about a desperate, transparent attempt to one-up a family member, and it's failed miserably. This isn't just a personal failing, it has political implications too. When Harry was in court crying about privacy and then turns up at Sundance begging for attention, that's not just hypocrisy, it's a strategic blunder. It undermines any credibility he might have had about his media intrusion claims. It makes him look like a total fraud, and that plays right into the hands of those who want to see them completely disassociated from the monarchy. King Charles, Prince William, they've got to be looking at this and thinking, see, we told you so. This kind of behavior, this blatant contradiction, it fuels the argument that they can't be trusted with any kind of official or semi-official role. They're a liability, a loose cannon, and frankly, an embarrassment. It's only January 2026, and already their year is starting with a full-blown implosion. What's next? Are they going to try to reinvent themselves again? Are they going to find another finished project to latch onto? Because right now, the well is dry. The Hollywood dream they chased has turned into a nightmare. And the worst part? They keep digging their own hole deeper and deeper. You've got to wonder if they even understand the depth of the hole they're in, or if they're just so caught up in their own narrative that they can't see the reality crumbling around them. This isn't just a bad movie premiere. This is a public referendum on their entire post-royal existence. And the verdict is pretty clear, isn't it? Failure. Absolute unmitigated failure.